I believe resources always follow visions, and people will, I believe God will send the right people to us.
Giving is a joy, okay? Giving is a privilege, therefore, in this regard. So if you can share our facilities, our needs, our finances, whatever, okay? It is such a blessing and a joy for all of us.
You teach the children,
delayed gratification.
What is delayed gratification? That there are things that you don't always get.
Marriage is a love relationship. Marriage, at the end of the day, is about commitment. Irrespective of our own personal feelings or moods, as our personal feelings and moods can shift from time to time, from period to period, from stages to stages. Despite everything else, commitment, that love relationship must be there from day one.
So for us to have an association, a close relationship with Father, that's our identity. We don't look for other sources. That's why a good emotional state for all of us, even your children, is that they will not get offended so easily.
Some of you are business owner here. I would give a proposal and suggestion. If you have so many employees work under you, don't make them a slave. Don't make them fatherless. Try to give them your love, that they also need some time for their family.
Yeah. Good evening. Thank you for coming and all the participants, and we welcome you to our tonight's Family First Malaysia Zumbina. And I would like to inform that all mics will be muted starting from now until the end of the talk, where there will be a 10 to 15 minutes for fellowship later on. Okay. And if you want to be on the video, to be seen on the video, then please make sure that you are in the appropriate setting, or in other words, proper attire, as well as without disturbance. And as our recording will be posted on social media platforms. Also, please be informed that please type in your question at the chat box for you to post any questions for the speaker to answer. Then please also make sure we will go through some slides later on, posted by our IT guy, Bun Ping. Yeah. Okay. Family First Malaysia is a non-profit organization. We serve people regardless of ethnic, religions, background, or social status. Our vision, we assist to transform next generation fathers supported by mothers to build better family, resulting in a better workplace, a better society, and a stronger nation. Our mission, we partner with like-minded organizations to restore, reshape, and realize men and women to become better couples and parents in the context of original marriage with 4F that is focused on family, finance, fitness, and flavor. So we have fitness, finance, family, favor as our motto. Yeah. On the family front, We want to double our love, joy, and peace in our families, to restore broken relationship, to reshape the home environment, and release next generation leaders, using home as the starting point of leadership training. So our tool for the family is first, noble family vision, blessing of a happy marriage, role of a husband or father, role of a wife or mother, the foundation of the blessed children, the foundation of the family order. On the finance forefront, we want to increase our income or net profit ethically and righteously, with value innovation to double our giving, with all bad debts settled, and achieving oneness with money as a family, beginning with fathers and mothers to model better financial stewardship. Our finance tools are on 4 principles. First, principles of financial stewardship. Second, God's purpose for money. Third, managing money as a couple. The last, financial freedom. So on the forefront of fitness, we want to strengthen our mental and physical health through the cultivation of a positive mental attitude, holistic exercise and nutrition, resulting in a high energy and wisdom to achieve things of a big and lasting impact. Well, we do have our fitness tool, which are to cultivate a positive personal habit and growing old graciously. So in short, favors is our last focus, and we want it to be symbolized as faithful, adaptable, versatile, optimistic, understanding, and relationships. Okay, here we are. Please follow us on our social media, and you may want to follow us for updates. Please scan please scan on it. Thank you. Our donation is all donations are welcome to our public Maybank, and the account number is shown. You may want to make a scan on the QR code here, so that it's easier for you to deposit any amount. Thank you so much. We pass the time now to our chairman, Dr. Tan, to introduce the speaker. Yeah, and later, around 9 p.m., we will stand by to moderate our question and answer. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Tan.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew, for moderating tonight's sessions. And it's wonderful to see, so many of you tonight coming to listen to this wonderful couple. Now, of course, all of us, just now you heard that, because in our Zoomina, especially during the pandemic, we did it almost once every week. We have many speakers that came on to actually share on this particular platform. And of course, this year onwards, we do it once a month, all right? Because we have a lot other more activities. Now, you heard just now that what Dato' Kenny shared, that, marriage is basically a commitment, all right? And of course, we know that there are many difficult issues that also must be dealt with in any marriage. So that's why you see all of you come here tonight to hear this wonderful couple, how they journey through, and also to share with you some of the steps, that they've gone through, and also some handles for all of you who are still in marriage and also facing difficult situations. And we know that they are all different. All of us have different personalities, different communication skills, and we have issues even with our anger, which we have not dealt with. And we have also the, our likes and dislikes of every sort, okay? Now, it is important for us, especially tonight, to come and also listen to this speaker who is coming to us. Richard and Florence, they are good friends of ours. And Richard is also our family first, one of the family first directors. And they just celebrated their 45th wedding anniversary last month, right? Happy anniversary, Richard and Florence, right? And they have 3 beautiful and also godly, loving adult children and 3 grandchildren, right? And all of them are, now living in Perth, and they are worshiping in the church in Perth. Now, this Richard's family is a very blessed family, and they've experienced, these relationship breakthroughs and tasted the goodness, of God, and also how greatly actually God used them to be a blessing for many couples as well, right? Now, of course, without, talking about this marriage, we must also remember and also mention, a godly lady who is alongside with Richard. Beside every successful man, there is always a lady. And of course, our Florence reflects Proverbs 31, and is that kind of special woman. She has led the women ministry and is a prayer warrior in her church. Now, Richard serves also as an assistant as registrar of marriage in his church, all right? Now, in conduct premarital counseling and actively mentoring couples and families with also Family First Malaysia. So together with Florence, they want to share with all of you, especially their lives and also how God has actually, God's grace upon their life and their blessing bestowed upon them. So they want to just share this blessing to all of them. So let us welcome Richard and Florence, right? Richard and Florence, over to you.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us this evening for this FFM monthly Zoomina. I'm Florence Ng, and my husband Richard Tan, and I have been married for 45 years, and we celebrated our 45th wedding anniversary last month. I must confess that it was not smooth sailing all the way for the past 45 years. There were plenty of ups and downs, and I'm sure many of you married couples can agree with me on this. Looking back on our journey together, I can say that God has done so much in our lives and has helped us through so many difficulties and challenges. If it is not for God in our lives and relationship, we will not be here. Just know that as long as we do not give up, God will never give up on us.
Yes, that's true. There were times I felt like giving up too, but for my wife, I thank God for God-fearing wives. Never want to give up on me. Now, we were heading for a divorce, and as I was unfaithful, but my wife fought for me in prayers and love. Do you know that God can change hearts? God changed my heart, and not only that, I fell in love with her again. And I can say I love her more than I have loved her before. I have also seen this happen with another couple my wife was counseling and walking with, the wife whose husband was also having an affair with another woman. My wife prayed with that lady, and they fought for her husband in prayers. God changed his heart, and they are together again. They have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls, and one of the boys just got married, another getting married soon. And that is the miracle of God.
This evening, my husband and I would like to share some of the steps we have learned and taken to cultivate good habits that has helped us to keep our love for each other. It does not mean that we do not have arguments or disagreements, but rather how we reconcile and resolve our differences makes the difference. And most importantly, the Holy Spirit is our best coach. What we will share are just some steps that you too can learn and implement in your relationship. But always remember, It takes two to tango. Solo dancing will only tire you out. You and your spouse or boyfriend or girlfriend must be willing to do together with you. These are not very difficult things to do, but rather some are just common courtesies and manners. Family First Malaysia has some great tools that can help you build your relationship in your marriage and family. If you are interested to know more, put a note in the chat group and the administrator will help you sort things out.
Now, we do not claim we have the perfect solution, but I know we have done together, what we have done together has helped the both of us to enjoy our marriage lives. The steps we will represent are not a must-do, but will definitely help you in improving your relationship with your spouse. Just do what you can first, and then slowly build more into your daily habits. The secret here is intentional, persistent, and consistent trying out. So, to beginners, let us look at this verse in the Bible as I share screen with you on what we're going to share tonight. Right? Steps to a happy marriage. Ephesians 5:25 says this.
Husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church and gave himself for her.
Most of us remember Ephesians 5:24. And what is that? And that is, we always say, wives, submit to your husbands, correct? And we always tend to leave this verse out. But actually, let's look at what the Message Bible says on the same verse.
Husbands, go all out in your love for your wives, exactly as Christ did for the church, a love marked by giving, not getting.
And this is what we want to stress on. A love marked by giving and not getting. Because that's why the Lord says it's more blessed to give than to receive. And in a marriage, if you learn how to give, you will have a blissful marriage.
Happy marriages begin when we marry the ones we love, and they blossom when we love the ones we marry.
It only blossoms after your marriage if you learn to love the ones you marry. This is so true.
Yep. If you do not know how to love each other as husband and wife, it could be a living hell.
True. That's why they say sometimes nobody wants to get married.
But if you know how to value and love each other, then you can live heaven on earth.
And this is so true. You can enjoy your life together.
Love is a complex and multifaceted emotion, and it cannot be boiled down to a simple formula.
See, this love is so complicated. And we say God is love, and we know what kind of character God is, right? And we cannot understand. And it's truly, sometimes we can understand. But if we just do our little part, bit by bit, we will learn to appreciate and accept it.
A committed marriage is the key to a happy family.
That is the key. Be committed to your marriage.
All marriages are imperfect, but all can improve.
And that's right. That's what we're trying to do. We know that we're imperfect, but we can all change and get better and better every day.
Loving your spouse is one of the greatest gifts you can give to your children and your children's children.
And this is the best inheritance you can give to your children and to your grandchildren.
We will look at some steps that each of us can initiate to improve our relationships in our marriage.
As we say, these are just steps, not suggestions. You can work on it and you can build on it.
These pointers can help us cultivate good habits that will strengthen our marriages. The list is not exhaustive, but my wife, my husband and I, as a couple, have been doing most of these steps to help us in our 45 years of marriage. Falling in love is easy, but staying in love is hard work.
That's why when we do premarital counseling, we always warn the going to be married couple that says that it is hard work. Don't think that's easy. There's no happily ever after, because that's only found in fairy tales. Number one, these are some of the steps we look at.
Start each day with a kiss.
It's not very difficult. It takes habit to do it.
Show love to the person that is most important to you.
And this is what we do. Every morning, Now he gets up at different time, so we don't do that. But each time when I come down and I'm going off to work, or I first come downstairs, right? When we see each other, right, in the morning, we give each other a kiss. And we have done this so long. Our children are doing it, and you can see them doing it. And the best part of this, they enjoy it.
Number 2, wear your wedding ring at all times. What are you afraid of?
I used to take up my wedding rings in certain places last time. Why we do it? I'm sure you know. So wear your wedding ring so that to tell the world that you are in a relationship, you are not available for anything, and that you are taken.
Yep. Number 3, have sexual intimacy as often as you can.
This is very important.
Never stop romancing and enjoy the health benefits.
You know, there's a survey done on this that they say that most couples that have sexual intimacy very often, they found that it helps them to strengthen the heart, because intimacy helps your heart to pump faster and stronger. It's good exercise. It also got rid of headache, and this is survey done, okay? And also it is a good antidepressant, because as you have sexual intercourse, it releases oxytocin, and that increases endorphins. We know that endorphins is a hormone in the body to help us relax. It is also an antidepressant. It improves self-esteem and is truly effective. And also those who have insomnia, this will help you, because you will be relaxed and you can fall asleep. And also it helps in urinary incontinence, because having intimacy with normal helps to combat urinary incontinence, and it strengthens the pelvis and prevents heated urine leakage. It also helps to overcome influenza and muscle overload. It also gives you shiny skin. You want to look good and youthful. And also for men, it helps in their prostate. And for women, it is a protective barrier against breast cancer in the same way as the prostate. The stimulation of the breast causes the womb to release oxytocin, a hormone that protects the appearance of this kind of cancer. So if you know that, now you know the benefits of making love to cure some ailments like this, do not forget to share with your friends, and make sure if you are married, please do not neglect this exercise.
Number 4, accept differences. We are created unique by God, and we embrace the uniqueness of the person we love.
So remember, embrace the differences, because we are not cloned. How would you like to marry someone just like you? I don't think I want to. And that's why marriage, God brings together two different people, and we learn to love each other and embrace the differences.
Number 5, be polite.
What do you mean by be polite? Okay.
Carry your manners into your marriage and use please and thank you always.
You know, sometimes it's very funny, you know, we are very polite to our friends and to people and to colleagues people who do not know. But how come we are not polite to our spouse? We take them for granted. And now, actually, I've learned this, you know, my wife always insists I say please. So I've learned it, I've also done this. And each time when I go down and she prepared my breakfast and collect the breakfast from her, I would say, thank you, darling. You know? So that helps, and then make her happy too. And when you make your wife happy, you are happy. I'm sure you heard of the saying, happy wife, happy life. Just imagine that. Number 6, sorry.
Be gentle.
Now, because many relationships fail, you learn to treat each other preciously and try not to overpower the other. What do you mean by that? Because many relationships fail because one party tries to overpower another or demand too much. Now, people in love tend to think that love will conquer all, and their spouses will change the bad habits after marriage. Actually, this is not the case. There is a Chinese saying which carries the meaning that it is easier to reshape a mountain or a river than a person's character. It's not easy to change. Thus, having high expectation or changing the spouse's character will cause disappointment and unpleasantness. it would be less painful to change ourselves and lower our expectation. And this is what we always encourage in our premarital counseling is don't change your spouse, change yourself, and everything around you will change.
Yes. Number 7, smile often and have the right speech. That's the
secret to keeping young and maintain mutual respect.
A woman, that's a story that I'd like to share. A woman and her millionaire husband visited their construction site. A worker who wore a helmet saw her and shouted, "Hi, Emily, remember me? We used to date in the secondary school." On the way home, her millionaire husband teased her. "Luckily, you married me. Otherwise, you will be the wife of a construction worker." The wife answered, "You should appreciate that you married me. Otherwise, he will be the millionaire and not you." There's a Chinese saying that carries the meaning that a speech will either prosper or ruin a nation. Many relationships break off because of wrong speech. When a couple is too close with each other, we always forget mutual respect and courtesy. We may say anything without considering if it would hurt the other party. Frequently exchanging these remarks plant the seed for a bad relationship.
So remember, right? Always have the right speech and smile at each other as often as you can.
Yeah.
Number 8.
Touch often. Stay connected and hold hands.
And it's something which my wife has done. You know, I tend to walk very fast, and each time when we walk, she will pull me back, hold my hands, purposely hold my hands so that I walk slow, so that she can keep up. And holding hands is something that we have learned to do. I've seen a lot of couples after when they are dating, they like to hold hands, hug, and lovey-dovey. After they get married for a few years, when children comes along, they hold the children's hand and not each other's hands. And that should not be the way. Because I always tell them, your children will grow up and leave you. At the end of the day, the one that's staying with you will be the two of you, your spouse. So you got to learn to love your spouse now, and not only after your children left the nest.
That's right.
Number 9.
No secrets. Share your secrets with one another.
Please don't keep secret with from each other. Share, because always remember that your spouse is your BFF.
Yes.
Right? You should do that.
Number 10, select a song that can be our song. Create nostalgia.
Yes, and my wife and I, we liked music in the past. When we were dating, we used to go disco and sing song. In dating day, I used to record a song, you know, with my guitar, and then give it to her. And when we hear this music, this song come out over the radio, and we look at each other and give us a nostalgic feeling, and we say, there's our song. And you can have this over and over again.
11, trust each other.
What does it mean?
When trust is broken, it signals the end of the relationship.
Now, to this, let me share with you this story. A telephone operator told this story that one day, she received a phone call at the work. She answered, Public Utilities Board. There was silence. She repeated, Public Utilities Board, and there was still no answer. When she was going to cut off the line, she heard a lady's voice. "Oh, so this is Public Utilities Board. Sorry, I got the number from my husband's pocket, but I do not know whose number it is." See, that is no trust. Trust is a very important factor for all relationships. When trust is broken, it is the aim of the relationship. Lack of trust leads to suspicion. Suspicion generates anger. Anger causes enmity, and enmity results in separation. So without mutual trust, just imagine what will happen to the couple if the telephone operator has just answered, "Hello," and there's a lady's voice, instead of Public Utilities Board. So take note, there must be trust in each other.
12, laugh together. Be silly with one another. Relax and no need to be so serious.
You know, I can be very serious in work, in all things that I do, But sometimes with my wife, I like to make monkey faces and do things and make her laugh. And sometimes we joke and she laughs and then the tears comes. And that's what makes me happy. And when I see her laugh, and I feel good. So this is what we should do for one another. And with that, she also like to make me laugh. She also try to be nice and make things logical and make things not so serious between the both of us.
13. Send a card or text for no reason. Express your love.
This is what we do sometimes once in a while. We send an emoji, we send the love and we send the heart, So this is something which we do. In the daytime, when you think of my wife, I will send something to her or a good quote. That is something that reminds her that I love her.
14. Do what the other person wants before she or he asks. Be proactive and serve and make your spouse happy.
That's what we do. Now, I know that I see her very tired every time doing this housework. I get up early in the morning. So the first thing I do is I go downstairs. I help to clean, wash whatever place I can, wipe the tabletop of the kitchen so that when she comes down, everything is clean and nice. She don't have to take care of that. So I do that because I know that helps her. And I do it not because I have to do it. I do it because I love her. And that's how I show my love to her. Listen, number 15.
Listen to respond and not to reply.
So a lot of times, we men especially, we always we listen to reply. Because before she can finish her sentence, my wife, I always know what to reply. So I've learned how to, not to cut her off, but be patient and then respond to what she's trying to tell me. Right? That's very important.
16. Encourage one another. Be each other's cheerleader.
I mean, in the past, sometimes I get some bad news and I'm a bit anxious and not so happy. My wife would encourage me, say, darling, don't worry. Let's pray. Sometimes she will pray for me. And she will say, come, let's pray. So she becomes my cheerleader and she gives me the comfort to know that there's someone standing with me. So you must learn to be each other's cheerleader. Encourage one another.
Number 17, no pointing of fingers or accusation. Well, a man asked his father-in-law, many people praise you for successful marriage. Could you please share with me your secret? The father-in-law answered with a smile, never criticize your wife for her shortcomings or when she does something wrong. Always bear in mind that because of her shortcomings and weaknesses, she could not find a better husband than you. We all look forward to being loved and respected. Many people are afraid of losing face. Generally, when a person makes a mistake, he will look around to find a scapegoat to point a finger at. This is the start of a war. We should always remember that when we point one finger at a person, the other 4 fingers are pointing at ourselves. If we forgive others, others will ignore our mistakes too.
That's right. So this is to prevent arguments and fights. Number 18.
Compliment each other as often as you can. Cultivate a habit of saying positive words to each other.
Instead of degrading one another, let's cheer each other up and say positive things. I've seen couples, they always like to put each other down, and I feel so sad for them because that is create an air of negativity. So what we want to do is we want to bring in an air of positivity in our relationship and in our marriage.
Number 19, be patient with each other. Think before you act so as not to regret later.
A man came out of his house to admire his new truck that he just bought. To his puzzlement, his 3-year-old son was happily hammering dents into the shiny paint of the truck. The man ran to his son, knocked him away in anger, and then hammered the little boy's hands into pulp as punishment in his anger. When the father came down, he rushed the boy to the hospital. Although the doctor tried desperately to save the crushed bones, he finally had to amputate the fingers from both the boy's hands. When the boy woke up from the surgery and saw his bandaged stubs, he innocently said, "Daddy, I'm sorry about your truck." Then he asked, "But when are my fingers going to grow back?" The father went home and committed suicide. Now think about this story. The next time someone steps on your feet or you wish to take revenge, think first before you lose your patience with someone you love. Trucks can be repaired. Broken bones and hurt feelings often cannot. Words spoken cannot be recalled. Too often we fail to recognize the difference between the person and the performance. We forget that forgiveness is greater than revenge. People make mistakes. We are allowed to make mistakes, but the actions we take while in a rage will haunt us forever. So learn to be patient with each other.
Number 20, ask for each other's opinion. Let your spouse know he or she matters to you most. 21, show respect to each other. Never take each other for granted.
Now we can show respect for us to what you call to strangers and all. Let us learn to show respect to each other. So we treat the one that we love more important than anybody else.
22, welcome your spouse home. Show that you misses him or her.
And this is something my wife has done often. That each time when they come back, she will welcome me with a kiss. You know, and because of that, when our grandchildren were staying with us, she hear the car coming back, and then she would say, yeah, it's back, it's back. My granddaughter will run to the gate and stand there and shout, yeah. And then when they open the gate, she will give me a kiss. And our little granddaughter will say, she put out her lips and she wants to be kissed too. She sees it, she likes it. So this is something that we must learn, and then we can pass it on to our children. Up to now, till today, you know, each time when they come back, when I see her, she will welcome me with a kiss. This is what we should do as husband and wife.
23, look your best.
What do you mean by that?
Look good and smell good.
Always try to, don't only keep the nice clothes and perfume for going out. Why want to let people smell when your own spouse don't smell it? So look good for each other. I find that some men, when you go to their house, they wear shorts that are so torn, they don't shave, and they look so unkempt. How is your wife going to like you? I mean, you will do that. Even for that, some women, you know, they wear their pajamas walking around everywhere and cooking and all. Why? So that's why, as husband and wife, we look good for each other. And I really like my wife that she always dresses up. And I feel so proud that I walk beside her, that my wife looks pretty, you know, and makes me feel good. And I too must also keep up a bit. No, I'm not as good looking as her. I got to keep up a bit also.
24, celebrate each other's birthday. Show you care because you remember.
And this is something which I do quite often, is that I always give my wife surprise birthday parties. And I will let her know, and I'll work with our children. Our younger son staying with us. We invite her friends, not my friend, but her friends that she knows, most of them, her mother and some of her brother. And we organize it, and then we'll take her somewhere and say, let's go for lunch, you know, and we bring her along. And then she will walk in and surprise, everybody is there. So surprise your spouse, surprise your husband is okay. And sometimes she tries to surprise me, but cannot surprise me because maybe I'm a bit too smart now sometimes. I don't get surprised. But it's good. You do this, it's fun for each other and make each other happy. 25, admit and apologize when wrong. Confess, repent, and show humility. We men are always have this problem. We don't want to admit our mistake and we don't like to apologize. I, for one, also don't like that ego, you know, but I've learned what's wrong admitting your mistake and apologize to your spouse. You know, it shows humility. And this is what I pray every day. I say, God, help me to be kind, generous, humble, and thankful. And really, God is showing me so many things, how to be thankful. And because I'm so thankful, I thank God for my beautiful wife. This is what I pray. I thank God for everything that we have, our relationship, our children. And when you learn to be thankful, you will learn to be humble, because you know that these things are not of your own doing, but it's God's blessing.
Yeah. 26, be quick to forgive, as you have been forgiven too.
Because there is a saying that the perfect match can only be found between a blind wife and the deaf husband. Why so? This is because the blind wife cannot see the faults of the husband, and the deaf husband cannot hear the nagging of the wife. Now, many couples are blind and deaf at the courting stage and dream of perpetual perfect relationship. Unfortunately, when the excitement of love wears off, they wake up and discover that marriage is not a bed of roses. Even a bed of roses has thorns. You decide whether your marriage is nightmare or not from then on. So you have to decide. We learn to quick to forgive, because a good marriage is made up of two good forgivers. We are so imperfect, and definitely we will rub each other. So we must always be quick to forgive.
27. Be kind to one another. Try not to hurt each other. But 28. Respond quickly to your spouse's request. Show that the person you love is important to you.
Don't drag your feet, don't procrastinate, right? Just because you love that person, you do it. Not because that you have to, but because you want to.
29. Treat each other's friends and relatives with courtesy. Show honor and love to your spouse.
This is good, because when you treat your spouse, friends, and relatives with courtesy, you are showing that you honor your wife or your husband, and that you love them.
Number 30. Be sensitive to each other's sexual desires. Meet each other's needs.
In our premarital counseling, and sometimes when we journey with couples, we always tell them, when you have sexual intercourse, right? Don't go into just to satisfy yourself. Go in with the attitude to pleasing and satisfying your partner. And when you do that, that's why the Bible says, when you give, it will be given back to you. Pressed down, shaken. You will reap the reward.
31. Pray for each other daily. Let God be in the center of your relationship.
This is the crucial part that plays an important part in a relationship. Prayer.
32. Say, I love you frequently. Do this as often as you can.
Yeah, we used to do that. Sometimes we were driving, my wife beside me, she will touch my hand, and she look at me, and she will mouth the word, I love you, So it's okay. When our children still hear them and still see us doing this.
33. Do not be too concerned about people's perception. Well, different people have different perception. It is like one man's meat could be another's poison. A couple brought donkey from market. On the way home, a boy commented, very stupid. Why neither of them ride on the donkey? Upon hearing this, the husband let the wife ride on the donkey. He walked beside them. Later, an old man saw them and commented, the husband is the head of the family. How can the wife ride on a donkey while the husband is on foot? Hearing this, the wife quickly got down and let the husband ride on the donkey. Further on the way home, they met an old lady. She commented, how can the man ride on the donkey but let the wife walk? He is no gentleman. The husband thus quickly asked the wife to join him on the donkey. Then they met a young man who commented, poor donkey, can you hold up the weight of two persons? They are cruel to you. Hearing that, the husband and wife immediately climbed down from the donkey and carried him on their shoulders. It seems to be the only choice left. Later on a narrow bridge, the donkey was frightened and struggled. They lost their balance and fell into the river. You can never have everyone praise you, nor will everyone condemn you. Never in the past, not at the present, and never will be in the future. Therefore, do not be too bothered by others' words if our conscience is clear.
Your relationship is more important than others' opinion. Just remember this.
34. Help each other in household chores. The home belongs to the both of you.
Yeah, I cannot say that I work, I bring in the money, my wife stay at home, she take care of home, no, because the home belongs to us. Yeah. So what I do is I wash the bathroom, I mop our room and clean it and do floor, whatever I can do. So this is something which I can contribute.
35. Raise children together.
Yes, the children belongs to us.
Children are the responsibilities of the both of you.
So don't put it to somebody else, but both of us must raise together.
To build a successful marriage is like running a marathon. You are running this marathon together.
We are running together, and that's why we must help each other.
It takes time, dedication, and perseverance. It is hard work, and those who diligently work at it will reap a harvest of 100, 200, or 300-fold.
You have to be intentional. And that's why we say we have to be intentional.
There are no perfect husbands and no perfect wives. But if you will keep believing in each other, there will be plenty of perfect moments in your marriage.
Yes, don't try to make your spouse perfect. Create perfect moments that you can both remember.
Yes.
You know, look at this. This is taken 1969, the first photograph, and this taken this year, 2023. What does it tell you? When you value and take care of your relationship and each other, they last. Look at the car. It lasts, and both of them are still together. Take care of relationship and value each other.
A beautiful relationship is a journey from me to we.
This is important. It's no longer I or me, but we and ours.
A good marriage isn't something you find. It's something you make, and you have to keep on making it.
The key is keep on making it. We already reached our 70s, and we are still continue to make it because we expect we are already in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay, so imagine. So we have to keep on making it.
Real love isn't just an euphoric, spontaneous feeling. It's a deliberate choice, a plan to love each other for better and worse, for richer and poorer, in sickness and in health.
The key is deliberate choice. So you can start today. What is past is past. Don't worry. You can start today and determine your future.
Yes.
Remember,
you are in for the long haul.
Yes.
It is the journey, not the destination.
Always remember, the journey is more important than the destination.
It takes time, energy, and effort to build a home.
And also to build a relationship.
Relationships last, not because they were destined to last. Relationships last long because two people made a choice to keep it, fight for it, and work for it.
Made the choice.
Love is growing old together, but staying young at heart.
This is what we want to do. No, we want to stay young at heart always.
Love is not just about finding the right person, but creating a right relationship. It's not about how much love you have in the beginning, but how much love you build to the end.
Remember, the key is to build.
No matter how old you both get, never stop holding hands, never stop saying goodbye with a kiss, never stop saying, I love you.
We have Practical said that early on. We are blessed.
We are blessed to bless.
Right? That ends our presentation for tonight. And I pray that you guys really enjoy it.
Learn something.
And learn something, whatever it is. If you really need more information on this, because what we have done is this is just an extract of what we do in the Family First and also our premarital. We go into more details when we go into Family First Malaysia mentoring and also our premarital counseling.
Yep.
And I pray that whatever we have shared is a blessing to all of you.
Yep.
I pass it back to our moderator, Matthew.
Thank you, Richard and Florence, for your well-prepared speech for us tonight. We would like to see some questions, and if you have questions, please post it in the chat box so that we can read it out to the speaker. Any other questions we can see? Please. Someone would ask about the slides, whether it can be shared. So I suppose.
I think it will be available on YouTube when they post it up. This place that they can always watch from there. It will be there.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I believe some of you have questions, I think, which is important to ask at this time. Otherwise, you may not be clear certain things which has been spoken. Please consider to ask any questions.
Sometimes, it may just sweep over your head because we also try to, due to time constraint, we try to put it as much as we can. But actually, those are not rocket science things, which we often can do very easily. And we also, most of the time, we know it, but we fail to deliberately, intentionally, and persistently do it. And that's the reason why we cannot. But if you intentional, because it must be intentional, all these things are easily done. Yeah. And don't think that some of these things we have done from young. No, some of them we have done it when we reach our 60s. But we continue doing it, and that it helps us. Yeah. I think, Chen, you raise up your hand. What you doing with that question, you can type in the chat box. Yeah. Otherwise, they have not opened up it for the fellowship yet. Once open up fellowship, I think then we can also talk about it later.
I guess, Richard, that your explanation is so clear that they have no question.
I hope so.
Yeah.
This steps up for them to really chew on.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be shy. I think that we can, continue to open this one for more questions.
Yeah. No, it doesn't mean that when we practice what we have shared just now, I wouldn't say that we did all the things, but we do most of them. It doesn't mean we do not get on each other's nerve. We still step on each other's toes. We still get onto our argument, but how we reconcile makes the difference. Yeah. Definitely we will, right? So as iron sharpens irons, spark flies, but don't cause a fire. That's the most important thing. Yeah.
Well, I see a question, Mr. Richard, Brother Richard. Unbeliever stubbornness, I believe, is an egoistic, especially the husband side. How do we handle? I believe the question is not that clear. Maybe the person would like to say it in a clearer way. Unwilling to seek help. I wonder why he doesn't. What he means by that?
Okay. All right. Yeah. No, I guess one thing, because we also have encountered this. What we always tell what you call the person who brought in this complaint. Normally, a lot of time it is the women are more willing to seek help, and the men do not. In the case which I mentioned earlier when we started about the couple which my wife was helping and guiding up, the only thing to do is pray, because God can change hearts. So the husband was not a believer too at that time, but with my wife, they both prayed and fought for the husband in prayer. I think about how long? 1 year. About 1 year. Then only the husband came back to the family and then came to church and received Christ. So it's a tough battle when you have an unbelieving husband or a wife, a spouse, and especially when they are not willing to seek help. They think they have nothing wrong with them. That's very difficult. Okay, but what we can do, we always encourage the believing spouse to pray, because only God can change hearts. We can't change hearts. So prayer makes a lot of difference. If there's nothing much, I think we can pass this time back to the chairman.
Okay. I believe that your explanation, Richard and Florence, are very clear tonight. And of course, I think all the steps, 30 over steps, are very, very elaborate. Thank you so much for this, your experience, especially, journeying through your marriage for the last 45 years, all right? And we are so thankful. So I want to close this with a word of prayer. And then after that, we will request every one of you to just open this video so that we can take a nice photograph of you and post it on on our Facebook, all right? So let us close this with a word of prayer. Father, we want to thank you for raising Richard and also Florence for such a time as this that they have journeyed through for the last 45 years. We want to thank you, the Lord, that you continue to use them as really role model to also help more younger couples to journey through their marriage life. And we are seeing that, Lord, that today many marriages are actually broken down because of communication and lack of commitment. And also, of course, I pray the Lord that through all this sharing, that they will be able to also pick up some salient points and will become good handle for them to continue to use it. And Father, that we know, Lord, whatever that we can learn, we must also put into practice. So thank you, Lord, for tonight. Thank you for all the participants who come here. And we ask you, Lord, that before they depart from here, your hand be upon them, you bless them and you keep them, may your face shine upon them, and also give them your shalom peace. In Jesus' name, amen.